Well, hello everyone. Here in this video I'm going to show you how to create these plots, charts, and some with some modifications. The purpose of this is because in the tutorial website of Circos, it starts very complex, so you don't see how to actually create the basic uh, nodes or structures to build this kind of graphics. So here I'm going to show you exactly what is each part and how to manipulate at your will, and don't just copy and paste every uh, file and specification of the website. So let's get it started. So here the first thing I did, or we are going to do, is to change or create an alias to run Circos faster. So this is the way I have done it with this command over here. You just copy and paste it, and in my case the Circos file in the Circos.bin in the bin folder is in this location. So what I'm doing here is to make only Circos to be equivalent to all these paths. So instead of running all these commands from anywhere, I'm just going to this. I will only run Circos. So I'm going to run it now, just like that. So when I run Circos, it is going to run the file from the software. Instead of running this again, just write Circos and it's going to be fine. If you want like this automatic configuration when you start your session, you can append it into the .bashrc file, and it's like in my case I'm going to see you can see over here that I have already placed this line in my configuration file, the bashrc. So when I start my computer, my session, I automatically have this command line. So now with only Circos I can run it directly. So let's see the configuration files and everything else. The first thing you define is the data that you're going to plot to show, and it's defined as the karyotype. Here I have placed the data in this simple data.txt file. Let's take a look. Over here we find like the nodes or the karyotypes. This first part of the lines is like mastus. It's mandatory to put this CHR and this line over here to define that all these elements to the right are going to be karyotypes or nodes. The next element is the name of the variable, or like the identifier of these nodes. So like these identifiers over here have to be like unique, otherwise they will be replaced. So when you define it, you define like this identifier, that could be anything. Then you define the label of it. So the identifier is going to be used only to make a reference or use any advanced configuration for this part. And the label is going to be what is going to be shown in the plot or the chart. So later we can change it, but for example I'm going to make this underscore over here to reflect the change. Then we have like these two numbers. The first number is where in the, or if these two numbers represent the length of these nodes or karyotype. For this case I'm telling that this node has a length of 4. It has 4 parts from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 2 to 4, and the last part we specify the color. So it's going to be a red, and this definition of way to say in red specifies that it's going to be transparent in a very transparent actually. A stands for alpha, that means that it's going to be very transparent. When we set 1 is very transparent, and we set to 5 it's like 5 or 50% transparent. So for this next line we also define that it's going to be karyotype with this. Later it's the identifiers variable 2, bar 2, the label is named 2, and it has a length of 3, going to be of color green. And for the case of the third line, it has a length of 7, and we are going to change it, the alpha, to 5, and we are going to save it. So let's return it to this configuration file to explain a bit more. Spacing is the spacing between the nodes and the elements in the chart. Radius makes reference to the radius of these elements that are the karyotypes. The thickness is going to be how thick are going to be these elements or the karyotypes in the plot. Fill specifies if we are going to use the color that is specified in the simple data part, like over here. There is another option that we could specify like a color here in this configuration file, but we are going to touch that later. Next, the stroke color is going to be the border of these karyotypes. The stroke thickness, how thick they are going to be. The show label, to whether or not we are going to show the labels that we specified in here in the simple data file. And this next lines specifies some information about the fonts that we're going to use. Like for example, here the radius specifies actually if these labels are going to be before or after the karyotypes, plus some margin over here, how big they are going to be in label size, and if they are going to be parallel to the karyotypes. In this case, if they are going to be along the karyotypes way, or they are going to be just plotted like vertically aligned, are not curved as the karyotypes are. All these sections are inside this ideogram part. Next, we have in the image part, I have just added this line over here that you don't need to use it unless you want like a bigger plot. In this case, is the how big is going to be the background where you're going to plot. In case that you need like a bigger circle, you can change it here. So far in reference or contrast to what is going to be, or what I showed you the first image over here. Here we appear that name is red, and this is the SVG file that actually shows the alpha channel better. That's going to be how transparent they are. So you can see like that they are very transparent. And you have name 1, name 2, name 3, and they are parallel, these labels, to the karyotypes that are these nodes over here. So this is going to be changed by the configuration that we have modified in simple data. Here, instead of the last one, we made less transparent, and we changed name to name_1. And let's see what happens with that. I'm going to close it, and over here I'm calling Circos, and I will specify conf to say what is going to be the configuration file, and conf1.conf, that is the file that we showed before. I have to show you that these files are over here. I'm going to remove all these other images. It's just like that. So we are going to run this conf1. We run it, and it's done. The graphics are created. So you can see over here the changes that we made. For example, here you can see that it's less transparent, this section over here, as you can see. Let's make some more changes to show how we can modify these files. I'm going to show you, for example, this scheme is now going to be named 1. I'm going to show you like karyotype 01. This is going to be like some node. Label 3, and I'm going to modify a little bit length so it could be more interesting to see it. 25, like it's 10, 25 is more, 7, modify it, and I'm going to add another one, 4. Going to be a length of let's say 5. I'm saving it. I'm running it again. And you can see that all the changes have been made and updated. So here's the karyotype 1, second, some nodes. You can see the labels have changed. Label 3 for the third one, and the other one. As you can see, they have all these Circos software have scaled them up so they can fit like in the same circle. Underline them together. So let's make some small changes now. Now in the configuration file, we keep the nodes just like they are. So here the radius, it's like 90% of the radius of one radius unit. Let's say that's going to be like not 80. And let's see how it's going to be changed over here. We're going to run again. So it's supposed to be smaller in the radius of these nodes, but apparently it's like not very different. Let's make some more here to 50. How thick they are going to be? More thick, double. Fill yes. Stroke color same. Like it's going to be black. The stroke, how thick? Let's make it more thick. So level yes. Now the labels. Just I'm going to show you the we change with this, and then we're going to change a little bit the labels. And now you can see better now that I have to specify like smaller radius, like the 50% of the unit for a radius that is defined in some other file. It's a smaller circle. Also, you can see that these nodes are more thick, and also the border is black instead of gray, and it's supposed to be also to be like more thick. I'm going to close it, and some additional modification. Let's return it to 90% over here, and going to more thick the karyotypes, like it was in 40, now 80 to show you how a bit more the change. And label font the same, the label radius. We're going to make it like a less number over here instead of instead of radius. We're going to set it to like 75% radius. So the labels are going to be inside the circle, not outside. So let's see what happens with this. As you can see here, the karyotypes are more thick, and the labels are inside instead of outside. This is because we have specified a radius for the labels of 0.75 instead of 1 as they were before. Just more changes. We're going to return it to 1. This, the label size, let's increase it. It was in 30, let's place it to 90 to be more so you will notice it better. And also label parallel, well, we are going to say to no and see what happens. So you can see here that first the node, the labels are not parallel to the karyotypes, so they are just going or pointing out outwards, and they don't fit in the image. That's one thing. Another is that the labels are bigger. As you can see, these labels are bigger. So let's say that actually we want to keep the changes, but they don't fit in the image, right? So let's make the background bigger. And for that, we're going to go to this section over here. And here you can see the radius have this sign to the right. This is to override the default configuration. So we are going to change it to like double of what it was before. So the radius that this unit of radius that is over here is going to be like bigger. So you can see that actually we have increased it a bit, and as you can see over here, we can see completely this label over here, but instead we can see label 3. So let's make like this circle over here smaller, and also the radius for the node, the radius for the labels smaller. So over here we're going to say to 75, and the radius for the karyotypes as we want it to be smaller than the radius of the labels, let's say to 50 to 65. Let's close the image. We have exceeded some part of the labels, but we achieved what we wanted. So you can see that we moved the labels, and we made fit everything, and we have seen what happens when we set like parallel to the labels to false, or in this case to null. Just one last modification to make this look better, and we're done with this. So label parallel is yes, and the label radius is going to be like again 1 as it was before. The radius for the karyotypes, it was in 90%. Just leave it like that. Label, and everything is fine, and a bit smaller the radius of the image. So one last time. We're done with that, and let's see the image. There you have it. So that's it for today. So again, there is a video on my channel to see the previous part, that is how to install Circos, and probably in the next video I'm going to show more advanced features and how to specify like more parts for the graphing, and also create like those lines between these nulls again. Thank you, and again, you need some help with it, you can write, and I will probably reply you with some help. But if you want, also you can hire me, and I can work for you to make this kind of graphics.